Welcome back to round 26 preview. A little bit to talk about before we unpack this weekend's games. Desi gone, Adam O'Brien on the chopping block. Who's to come, do you think? There's talk Toddy Payton could be on the list of coaches gone. It's all happening at this time of the year, but we are here to talk about round 26. But before we do, obviously Des gone, Josh Hannay in. Scott Sattler has taken a really important role at the Gold Coast Titans also. Head of football. I think it's a great move. Sats is a great guy. He's been around the club before. Listened to him speak the other day on SEN talking about he's got unfinished business. His dad started the Gold Coast Chargers, I think it was, back in the day. Obviously, Sats' dad's passed now, so he said he's got unfinished business, and it'd be interesting to see what the clean-out looks like. Obviously, they're trying to keep Tino. They've just tabled an offer to Jaden Campbell. But interesting times. And then there's talk Adam O'Brien could be gone and Blake Green, the man to take over, which is an interesting one. What are your thoughts on both those, Mitch?
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, Gabe. Huge news. Gives us something to talk about on our preview show. So thank you.
I just want to can I cut in again?
Yeah,
I didn't ask how you were because last time we asked how you were, you was like me and Gabe with the cops. You didn't give us any information on your life. So I've actually stopped. I've stopped asking you how you're going because anytime I ask how you're going, you just go, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." You don't give us nothing.
Hey. Let's not go talk about the police because that's another headline we don't want to go into, Toddy. Let's keep away from
talking about that. We'll stay away from the cheese. We'll just stay away from. We'll stay away. We'll deflect that until it's all come out. But we do acknowledge 100%. It. But we'll stay away.
Mate, yeah, you just covered heaps of stuff there. So as you know, I got Alzheimer's, so you have to retell me what you just said. But I know, yeah, big news from what I gathered. You just said big news out of Newcastle. So I was under the assumption that Adam's been sacked, but now coming on here this morning with you two boys, he hasn't been officially sacked. So clearly, if it's been leaked like that and there's all this press, it's obviously going to happen in the next couple of days, you'd think.
The ripcord's about to go.
What's that?
The ripcord is about to go, I think.
You'd think so. If it's smoke, there's fire, as we always say. But, yeah, Blake Green's an interesting one for me. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't really understand if you're going to sack a coach, why you'd put someone in there that's already in the system, in a system that hasn't really been working. So, in all respect to Greeny, I played a bit of footy with Greeny. By all reports, he's a clever coach, but I just think it's a strange decision to keep someone in the system that's already been there. My old mate Willie Peters has been tossed up. I haven't spoke to Willie personally about this, but I saw his face on one of the news outlets. I've said it from the first show we've started this year, and you can vouch for that. What a big fan of Willie I am as a coach. So I think he'd be a great option if he was to take it up. But yeah, plenty going on. And then obviously Des. I suppose you can see that coming. You can see that coming.
Before you go to the Titans one, when you say a system that's not working, they've finished finals 4 out of the last 5 years. This will be their first year they haven't finished. There's other systems and other clubs that haven't featured in finals, but they don't get sacked. What isn't working?
I just think I agree with you, and I think I've got respect for Adam. I think Adam O'Brien's been a good coach. I had Adam there. I was captain when I was with Adam, so I've got respect for Adam O'Brien as a coach. But I think over the last couple of years they've faded away. I don't think as a group. Yeah, Adam did a great job there. He had a lot of success. It was a club that was struggling for a long time. Adam came in and got them, as you said, to finals back to back to back. Yeah, you look at a lot of that form, though, a lot of their form to make the finals, which is not taking anything away from it. Every good coach and every good team needs good players. But, obviously Kalen Ponga was a big part of that. And there was a heavy reliance on KP. I think the last couple of years, it's definitely, they've fallen down. They've gone down a few pegs, and they've obviously fallen short of the finals now the last 2 years. and not having Kalen there, it leaves a big hole, and you can't have such a reliance on one player. And I just think, as a whole group, I think it's needed a change.
What's Blake Green's
said,
official
it's got nothing
role?
Personally, what's that?
What's Blake Green's official role?
From all reports, Greeny's the assistant coach, so I think he'd do the attack. So he's been in control of the attack.
Yeah, he is assistant coach. Yeah,
so he'd be doing attack. So yeah. As I said again, if Greeny was ready-made to go into that role, plenty of people smarter than us would know that he would be ready, that are within the system. But for me, it just doesn't make sense that if you're going to sack a coach, you're going to put someone else that's second in charge or doing their attack to head coach. You'd think that, as you just said, rightly or wrongly or different opinions, is it a failure? Is Newcastle underachieving? It's up in discussion, but they obviously think they are. The board obviously think they are to make this decision about Adam, and you'd think that you'd need a clean slate and someone else with new ideas. But who knows?
Yeah, you're so true. And obviously the Desi one, as I touched on at the start, Desi's gone at the end of the year. I'm not sure where Desi will go to, but he's been a great servant for the game of rugby league. Obviously, his success at Manly won't go unnoticed, but just how many games? I think it's his 500th game a few weeks ago. In come Josh Hannay, and there's all reports that they've got a really good coach. He's obviously Billy Slater's right-hand man during Origin. He's Craig Fitzgibbon's assistant. He's been under Toddy Payne before. So he's been around, and they say it's his time to come in. So it'll be an interesting one to see because he even said it himself, he's not coming in with rose-coloured glasses. He understands it hasn't worked before. There's been no consistency. So I'm sure he's got a lot of work cut out, but it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. A big watch this space for the Titans on how they change things, if they do a clean out, or what it looks like. But as you said, when there's a clean out comes, it does also fall down to the playing group. And I think it's important they keep players like Tino and Jaden Campbell around.
Well, I think it's a good signing from all reports. As I said, I haven't had anything to do with Josh Hannay. I'm not sure if you have. But Scotty Sattler, I know he's close with you. I don't know Sats a whole lot, but champion guy, I don't think I've had to do with him. From hearing what you speak about him, he's going to be great in that role. I think the Titans, and we spoke about, they're one of those teams like the Tigers that haven't been successful basically since Cartwright was there in the early days. Justin Holbrook had a good impact there, I reckon. They played a good style of footy, but they were never heavy hitters, even in his time there. And I think Justin Holbrook's a great coach. So I'm just rattling off a few things that have been happening over the last 15 years. It hasn't brought much success. Justo, I thought, brought a real good edge to them. They played a really good style of footy. But, yeah, I don't think they've been a powerhouse since Cardi was there in the early days when we were playing against them. I mean, you were together. But it's probably the right guy. He's been in good systems. Josh Hannay's been in good systems, and he seems all class. So, but, yeah, I think with him and Scotty Sattler, they've obviously got lots of stuff to do. First and foremost is recruitment, and close second to that is getting the culture up there and the town behind them. I read something today about the AFL, how much there's a bit of a competitive edge with the AFL up there now and different things. So yeah, they need to get it rocking.
Yeah, it's two clubs that have been disappointing this year that will need to improve significantly to be a force next year. But with change comes different people, and different people can create different opportunities. So I just think it needs to start from the bottom. And for both clubs, I reckon, I think they need a DNA check from attack and defence. I think they've been trying to play like everyone else at the star power at the top. I think you need to create your own DNA in defence, DNA in attack. It doesn't mean to throw the ball around either. It's about, I reckon, playing the long game. Obviously, the halves at the Titans, obviously Kieran's been there, will finish up this year, but they're going to have not much experience in the 6 and 7 jumper if they stay with Brimson and Campbell. Experience as footballers, but around the halves, I think they need a lot of work in the off-season about what it is to play 6 or 7, how to play the long game, but also get your team to understand with you. You can understand it yourself, but if the players around you don't understand what you're doing and don't buy into actually what you're trying to achieve in each set of 6, not just one set of 6, it needs to be throughout the whole 25, 30 sets you get in a game. They need to understand what you're doing. And I think that happens in the off season with lots of repetition and lots of work.
I know a pretty good guy that's a pretty smart footy guy that lives on the Gold Coast. Good mate of mine. Knows Scotty Sattler quite well too. So watch this space, my brother. Brother Todd Carney. I'd be a great opportunity.
I've always said I love doing the pathway stuff. I'm ingrained with the stuff at Keebra, which is important because today's grand final day for our boys. I'm on a little bit edge. Yeah, I got up at 4:30 this morning, done me bike before this. Clear the mind and get ready to go for the boys today. I got a message last night from Peter Norman. He goes, "You coming on the bus today?" Fucking oath I'm coming on the bus.
Oh, you don't normally go on the bus?
Just depends where the game's at. Usually sometimes I'll drive and depending what I've got on, but it's in Redcliffe this afternoon, so I'll be on the bus with the boys.
Baby. Up the boys.
Baby. Got a fresh haircut yesterday. But yeah,
stream it?
Huh?
Can you stream it for my own viewing and the footy nerds?
It would be. Yeah, it should be, for sure. I'll suss it out and I'll send you the link.
We can put it on the Instagram page. That'd be great. 6 and 7's Instagram page. But yeah, I think when you just spoke about it, so you just go into a bit of detail about Titans, you spoke about, and I agree with you, about the DNA, the long game, the halves. Is that their only issue though? I fully agree with you, but defense is their problem. Like playing away from home's their problem. Having a tough culture out of Gold Coast and teams scared to go and play in the Gold Coast, that's their problem. Like if you're Josh Hannay right now, and I don't by any means think I'm a head coach or ever will probably be, but surely he's got visions of just hardening the place up first and foremost, bringing a bit of a hostile environment to the Gold Coast. That like I said, we haven't seen it for 20 years. I totally agree with what you're saying, that the halves, the long game, the style of footy is paramount, but their biggest issue this year, along with that long game, has been defense. Like the amount of points that they leak in arm wrestles is not acceptable, and it's the reason that they're battling for the wooden spoon. So surely Josh Hannay, and not only just Josh Hannay, surely the recruitment plan, whether it was Scott Sattler or whoever did it, around a new coach was around someone to bring a hard edge. Yeah,
and that's why I sort of said about with the DNA of defense, DNA of attack, and that hard edge that can come in. But we spend a lot of preseason running kilometres, wrestle, things like that. And all them things are needed. But I think you need to put things in place that you're in the grind and in the battle with what happens on the field. So if it's opposed, like simulated opposed, like working on your craft, what you do in the 80 minutes of football. And yes, I know wrestle comes into it. Yes, I know 3 in the tackle comes in it. Yes, I know lines you run comes into it. But you can't get those lines and a cohesion when you're running hundreds or doing long runs. You're in the gym. Yes, all them things are needed, and that will come into place. But I think a lot of it needs to be in the middle of the field with 13 players or the whole squad working out what suits them as a club. Because if you copy everyone else, it doesn't always suit the players you've got. You need to play to your team's strengths, not other teams' weaknesses or what everyone else is doing.
So what suits them? So you're saying to me that what suits Titans is a flamboyant style, not a gritty. No.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Depending on who they've got. Obviously, Josh Allen will have his own coaching style, so that will come into it. But I've already said it before around if they start with Brimson and Campbell at 7 and 6. There's a lot of work in that combination to be done because they're not halfbacks. They've never played halves. They've played fullback. A mentality of a fullback is run first. We've spoken about this time and time again. What's the difference between a 7 and 6? When I come into difficult times in my career was when I needed to play 7 but my head was going, you got to run. You're a 6. I go to the Roosters, have Joy, go to Cronulla. Like, they've got to, and that takes time for players to develop. And I'm sure they'll have a plan to develop Campbell into a great number 7. They've tried to lock him down for 5 years. They've got a great fullback in Keanu Kinney or Brimson, whoever they go with. They've got young De Groot on the wing. Same thing. When you're a natural fullback, then told to go defend on the wing, it's completely different. So they've got obviously some big choices. Everyone's got big choice. Anyone below the top 8 has got so much work to do in the off season to get to the top.
Yeah.
But when there's new change comes in, that's the way I see it.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to watching how he grabs hold of the group and who he brings in. Does he bring some players over we don't expect before the preseason starts? But yeah, no, it's going to be only upwards and forward for the Titans. You'd imagine there's not many other ways they can go, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Josh Hannay brings to them. Yeah,
that's right. That's him. The thing is, they can only go forward. They'll probably get the wooden spoon this year, so there's only growth. That's pretty much our Wednesday morning rant because, as you said, Mitch, at the start of the show, Rugby League always gives us a little bit of news to talk about. So we'll pass the mic over to our great mate, Gabe. He's stressing and sweating on that $50. He's messaged me 500 times.
I haven't messaged him since, and he still hasn't paid up.
That's a lie. You messaged me. I told you I'll drip feed. I'm going to send you 5 cents a day.
5 cents a day.
I haven't even got that yet. Cheddar updates, boys. Obviously, no wins last week. Didn't hit the Dolphins. Didn't hit the Dragons. So it's still 21-20 Mitch's way.
Yeah, bruh.
But into game 1, round 26. One of the more interesting matchups, the Bulldogs versus the Panthers, and Panthers essentially resting their whole team. How do you see this one playing out, boys?
Well, I don't usually do this, so I'm going to say I'm sorry to the footy nerds because I know they love me and they love me putting me balls on the line all the time, cheddar, but I'm going for the Dogs as my cheddar.
It's an easy one. They're paying $8.
Right. That's you every week.
That's
you every week, mate.
We don't dive into betting these days, but $8, let's just give that a little bit of attention for 2 minutes. That's got to be one of the record favoritisms in a long time. $8.
The Roosters had, I think it was early this year or early last year, like they were nearly $12 and they won that game.
$12?
Which that was a crazy one. Yeah, it was wild. But this is one of the biggest ones I've seen since then.
So game of the round, no doubt. Obviously got Melbourne and Roosters.
It's one of those things, like obviously Panthers have surrendered that they're not going to make the top 4. You can't question the master coach in Cleary and what he's doing. I think from the way the game's gone for them the last 2 weeks, both been really tough encounters against the Raiders and then the Storm in the other game. They've had some physical weeks. They probably can't finish lower than 7th, can't finish any really higher than where they are, or maybe a little bit. So they're obviously just going, okay, we're going to rest our players. We're playing against the Dogs. It doesn't really matter. We've got to beat everyone above us to win the grand final. We've been there before, never really in this situation. Let's just work on what we need to do over the next 2 weeks. And when we come into the final series, we're flying, we're fit, we're fast and strong, and we're ready to take it on because they've got to take the long road. So they don't have the luxury of usually in finals, win one, have a weekend off, play for a spot in the grand final. They've got to take the long road this time around. So it seems like Ivan Cleary is preparing for the long road, and that's to rest players.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Rest this week and then just throw every egg you got in the basket to win a comp. They'll be relishing in the challenge, I reckon. Like, as much as they would have loved to finish top 4, they've found themselves in this situation going into their 5th grand final. I reckon they'll be licking their lips just going like, let's just freshen up and let's just go after this with everything we got. Like, if you said that about any other team, you'd think there's probably a bit of worry because without that week off, it's nearly a miracle over history to win the comp. But with Penrith, I'm sitting there going, I reckon they're going to get off on this. Like, they're going to just have this tidal wave of just fucking all in or nothing mentality, which is the way that they've played to win the last 4 grand finals. So, yeah, I can't wait to watch it unfold. And as much as it's a blowout score this week, mate, we've seen we've seen weirder things happen this year in the competition. I do think the Dogs are going to win, going to that in a second, but we've seen weirder things happen. South won by 40 last week. We didn't predict that. There we go. So, yeah, as much as I'm thinking the Dogs are going to get this one, who the fuck knows? They've got a bunch of young blokes in a good system that get their start. A couple of guys we haven't heard much of that are looked in the lineup that are sort of on debut as well. So, yeah, be a good game to watch. But yeah, I think Dogs need to win, and they need to win comfortably. And for me, for the Dogs, I want to see it click. I want to see Galvin fit into that puzzle and take the reins. Because as I said last show a couple of days ago, I said that as much as the Melbournes, Canberras, and Penrith are probably the favourites, I still think Dogs, with a bit of improvement over the next few weeks, are as good. But it comes down to Galvin and
some interesting
Burton.
comments come out of Matty Johns this week, saying that he doesn't believe Galvin's an NRL 7 or a starting 7. They need to concentrate on moving him to the forwards to play a roaming 13. What are your thoughts on that?
There's been that talk since he came into first grade. And I know we've sort of talked about different positions for him on this show. I don't fully agree with that. I think he's a half. Like, there's no doubt he could play that role with the way the modern game is now. But I'm not writing him off as a half. I still think he's a 6 trying to learn how to play 7. But I'm not going to write him off as a 7 yet. But naturally, he's more of a 6 for sure. Totally agree with Matty in the fact that his game is more of a runner. I don't think it's natural and comfortable for him trying to orchestrate structure. And we're seeing that. We saw that at the Tigers too. So I think everyone expected this to probably happen. But, I go back to it. Sexton, for me, is a better fit for that group at the moment. He's more steady. He knows his game. He's more of a structured player. And he fits that puzzle better. But this is the way they're going. And, yeah, we're just... Hopefully it fits for him. Hopefully he can find some sort of style over the next few weeks that works for him, or it's going to stifle him. At the end of the day, it's not. At the end of the day, it's going to backfire. If they don't kick on, it's been a failure for this year.
Where do you stand on it, Toddy?
I don't know if I can push the case to say he should go into the forwards and play 13. I think he's a 6. I think they're wasting their time to try and push him in to be a 7. Well, not wasting their time because they've invested money into him. I just think that where the game is a 7 and 6 at the moment. I think you need a really controlling 7, ones that understand what's going on. Obviously, over time, he's only a young kid, so he'll develop that as time goes on. For me, I don't think the Dogs have got time this year. So that's why it's always been up for debate and the question marks around why wouldn't you just keep Sexton? They were in control when he was there. So I understand where the daggers are coming from. Can Lockie Galvin make it as a 7? Of course he can. He's a footballer. It's not his fault. He's just doing what's been the job put in front of him. It's not his fault, but it has to be spoken about because he's the guy that's in the number 7 jumper. And it doesn't mean that all the how they're going falls on him, but usually when you bring someone into a team, you get improvement. They've probably gone backwards in their attack.
100% they have. I was just saying it's their choice, isn't it? They were the ones who made the call. Gus and Serraldo, they were the ones who brought him over and played him in that position. That's all I'm saying. Like He probably saw himself as a 6 himself. He's come through the juniors as a 6. He played Tigers, debut at the Tigers as a 6. So in himself, maybe he's surprised. He's taken up an opportunity, come over, and the next minute he's thrown in the 7 while he's still learning his craft. So, and as I said, as you just said, like, all that doesn't mean jack shit. He's got that position and he's there to be criticised and have to perform. It's part of sport. It's professional sport. But my point is it on the club a bit? Like, because if Matty and that, who's one of the smartest brains in the game, and the respect we have for Matty Johns,
well, that's right. Yeah, you got
saying that and seeing him in that role.
Yeah.
That's a worry. That's a big worry, isn't it? It's a big worry if he leaves a big problem in their salary cap if he ends up playing in the middle as opposed to half. They're going to have to go get another one.
Next game on Friday night, Go Media Stadium. The Wars coming up against Parramatta. Warriors favourites here. I mean, they're in the top 4, rightly so. How do you see this one going, boys?
Well, this one was close. I was going to go my cheddar because I always drop me cags on the line and go the underdogs. I was going to go Para to beat Warriors with what they done last week against the Roosters. But also then I had the comments and thoughts of what Mitch said about the Warriors, how they played against the Titans. They got through it. They looked like they had an improvement. Obviously, they need to continue to prove to lay state claim in the finals. Obviously, it's always a tough trip to go to New Zealand, but they're going to have a tough task against Parramatta, as we always speak about. We speak about Mitchell Moses' kicking game, their strengths, the way they play, and so they'll move the Warriors team around with the way they play, with the shape out the back through Walker through the middle. And they've got some strike now, Parramatta, with Hosea Yongi and Talangi at halfback, Tulagi at 5'8", and the way they're playing. But I just think I see Warriors still getting some joy with how they're going. I think they'll get him in the long game. They'll get him at the back end of the game over there. It'll be a tough task to go to, but I'm going to say Warriors in a tight one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Everything Toddy said, I sort of mirror it. We sort of went into detail about Para on Monday. I'll probably say it again. I think Para will win off the back of Mitch's kicking game, and if he can play a 10 out of 10 again. The thing that worries me about Warriors is that length of kicking game compared to Parramatta, that forcing's back. Yeah, Mitch has done it at all levels now. He just puts you in corners, and the Warriors are a little bit off completion-wise. I think Para can get the job done. I really do, but Warriors got that little bit more to play for. You'd like to think that they're going to be more physical at home, and if the two halves, Boyd and Harris Tavita, can combine like they did last week, they'll just have that little bit too much X factor. Their middles are bigger. Halasima, Pompey, we speak about these guys every week. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, obviously, on the wing, but they've got probably bigger, more athletic bodies, experienced bodies across the park. But that Mitch Moses kicking game worries me. Well, it doesn't worry me. I don't support either team. But as a fan, from a Warriors perspective, to make top 4, Mitch Moses would be worrying me with his kicking game. But as I said, Boyd and Harris Tavita were good last week, so I'm looking forward to their combination, and they have to deliver. They really do. These next few weeks, they have to deliver for the team and give them that direction.
On to the next game, another Friday night game, Amy Park, Melbourne. Probably one of the better games this round. We got the Storm coming up against the Roosters. Who you tipping, boys?
This is a tough one because Roosters are without Sam Walker, Storm without Harry Grant. Big Nelson's welcome, but they welcome back Big Nelson into the fold this weekend. I'm going to go the Storm just because how the Roosters were last week. Tough task to go down to Melbourne to play. They've still got Munster, Pappenhausen, Wishart's been really good for them. So unless Wishart will go to 9 maybe and they'll start Jonah Pezet at 7. But yeah, I'm going to go the Storm. I think Storm will get the job done. But it's be one of those games. If the Roosters will go there and win, you can sit there and go, okay, well, they won because of this, this, and this, which is on the back of Tedesco, Hugo Savala's kicking game. and the pressure they put through the Melbourne Storm middle. And I think if the Roosters are to win, they need to beat Melbourne at their power game.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think Melbourne will get the job done here. Sammy out, and I just think across the board, Melbourne's got Roosters' measure. I really do, just on where they're at. Sort of makes sense. The fact that they're on top of the ladder and the Chooks are fighting for an 8, for the top 8. I just think across the board, consistently defensively, I think Melbourne's got their edge. I think that'll be the difference. I really think that Sammy's a massive loss. I just think not having him there against the Melbourne Storm when you need points. I think he's had his hand in 3 try assists a game on average.
15 try assists over the last amount of time. Since he's been back, he's had 15 try assists. The closest to him was 7.
Within 3? Yes, basically averages about 2-3 a game. So you take someone out with that influence in a tight defensive game. A team like Melbourne that keeps you tight in defence. I think it'll cost them. So I think Melbourne for sure. But Harry Grant is a big out. Who's hooker? Who's going to hooker?
Well, there'll be Bronson Garlick or Wishart, I'd say.
Wishart.
Currently listed is Garlick.
So they'll go with Bronson Garlick, which he's done a job there before.
Nelson's a big in, like you said, to having him back gives him that extra body against a Roosters pack. The pack for pack, there's not much difference. Outside backs, not much difference. So man for man, there's not much difference. But defensively, Melbourne's a better team, 100% this year, consistently, and even over the last period, they definitely defend better. And Sammy's a big one for me. But it'll be a close game. Roosters got everything to play for. They lose this, they're a chance of not making the 8. So I think this game, now we spoke about Penrith having so many players out, I actually think this is game of the round, in my opinion. I think it is.
Roosters this year, it seems like they've, more than any other year really, they've been scoring a lot of flashy tries, especially with Marky Mark on the wing there. But I don't know, you don't see too many teams score those flashy tries against the Storm, do you?
Well, it's going to be an area test this weekend. You've got Coates up against Marky Mark. My money's on Coates. I think they'll put a lot.
Listed as out.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
They'll put a lot of pressure on Marky Mark, I reckon, Melbourne.
I'm not sure why. But
yeah. We spoke about the other week with Marky Mark struggling defensively under bombs. He's still got a bit of weakness there. They can expose you too, can't they? They're set pieces and everything. If there's any little weak links in defence, or the Roosters cough up what they did last week as far as possession and not completing, Melbourne pounce on that. But no, I'm excited to watch this. I think the Chooks will be great. It'll be a good game of footy. I smell a close one. Coming down to a field goal or a penalty goal or a late try, something like that. That's my crystal ball.
Next game on Saturday night, the Raiders coming up against the Tigers. Huge out for the Tigers. Dewey still out, and Raiders lose Xavier Savage still. Tigers sniff boys. Do we think they have a chance?
I think the Tigers are going to struggle in this one purely because it's Canberra, but the Tigers have lost hope of the 8 too. And I'm not saying that makes you give up. Not at all. It's professional sport, but when you know you're not going to make the finals and you're playing against a red-hot Canberra side, as good as they're going to go, I don't think they beat Canberra regardless, but not knowing they're in the finals now, long game, 70th, 60th minute when 60th, 70th minute when Canberra start to put the foot down. I don't know if the Tigers have got the legs in them this week, especially with Dewey out as well. He's their X factor. I don't think they'll have the points because Canberra will handle a lot of their attacking shapes. Tigers' joy the last few weeks has come through a lot of those shifts to the left edge. Well, I don't think they're going to have as much joy against Canberra. In saying that, Canberra's weakness is their right edge D at times, with Tomoko and Fogarty there on that edge, and they've got Taylor May, who's pretty dynamite. So there might be a bit of joy there, but I think Canberra will be too good.
Yeah, I'm with Mitch. I think Canberra win. I think always when you play the Tigers, they're going to be up for the fight early on. If you give them a chance and a sniff to go on or score points, which the Cowboys did last weekend, but Cowboys ran them down. That's the concern for me, that a team like the Cowboys can run them down in the situation they're in, coming up against a Raiders team that can score points from anywhere, that if their middles dominate and you don't get a chance on them early, I think Raiders, it can go either ways. It can be really tight or it's going to be a lapping by Canberra. And just, I guess, Canberra's strengths at the moment, obviously they lose Savage, but in comes Tamale. So they're not losing much there. He's been out for a couple of weeks, but he'll fall back into place, and Canberra will get the job done.
I'm just laughing here, boys. You know, we got ADHD. I just got this fly going around my light screen. Looks like Ned Brockman around the fucking 400-meter Olympic track. It's literally, I reckon it's done 100 laps.
Our next game on Saturday night. This one, the bookies have at an even, even no favourite here. The Dragons coming up against Manly at Jubilee Stadium. Yeah, can you just pick this one, boys?
I thought you were going to say 4
I'm
points.
with the bookies.
I thought you were going to say Brookie Oval again. I was going to go, how many fucking games have they played at Brookie Oval? Thankfully not. It would have been an investigation. 4 Pines Park.
I'm with the bookies here. It is a tight one to go against because how Manly played last weekend, but then also how the Dragons have been playing against South last weekend. So I'm going to have to go with Manly just from the performances of last weekend. Dragons got slapped by South, and it was obviously because they know their season's done and dusted. Manly's in a very similar position. There's a mathematical chance for them, I'm pretty sure. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Manly. They'll finish stronger than the Dragons. The Dragons have been up and down all year. They had that small period where they beat Cronulla and Canberra. But I just think their bags are packed, ready for their off-season, and all their costumes are ready for Mad Monday for me. But I've been wrong before with the Dragons. I've had egg thrown in my face. So if I get egg thrown in my face, I'll happily accept it. But we are here to pick who will win, and I'm going to go Manly.
I'm going to go Dragons. I honestly think they can win.
You.
I don't have enough. I don't have enough confidence in Manly. Like, the thing that makes me think Dragons is the fact that they got walloped last week. Got a bit of resilience about them this year, Dragons. Crisis meetings all week. Need a win. Manly, a bit complacent, softened a little bit because they've had such a big win. Manly don't give me confidence off a big win. They're not a team that blows someone off the park, and I feel like they're going to back it up again. If anything, I feel like they go to the big play straight away, and they love to feel good. Dragons, on the other hand, as we just said, they've had the crisis meetings. Why did we lose so badly? I just think they're going to come out physical, and I reckon they'll take Manly out of the game. That's my thoughts. They've got good attack, Dragons. They've got good attack. We keep saying it. On their edges, they can strike.
Good last week.
Yeah. That's what I said. They're good at bouncing back. And on their edges, I don't know, Manly's, I don't know how solid they are on that right edge at times, Manly.
Our next game on Saturday, Queensland Derby. Cowboys coming up against the Broncos. They have Adam Reynolds listed as in, but then on his team list, he must just be in reserves or something.
Yeah, he's been named at 22, Adam Reynolds, but for me, it's going to be one of those games. The local derby brings different excitement, entertainment. Up there in Townsville is a tough task to go to. They captured a little bit of form last week with the Cowboys. They played a bit of flamboyant footy. They got him the win against the Tigers. For me, I'd like to see him just go out and just throw caution to win, let the shackles come off and try and pull a Broncos team's pants down. But the way Broncos played last week also, they're in their groove. Reece Walsh has seen he got a haircut yesterday, so the flying mullet's gone. He'll be up for the occasion. Broncos are a chance of still finishing in the top four. So they got so much to play for, a massive game for them, and I think the Broncos get it done. But it'll be a tough one. One, because it's a derby, and two, because Cowboys have got nothing to play for. So early on, the Broncos need to be on defensively. But if they can sort of withhold them to half time, they'll have plenty of joy in the back end of the half.
Yeah, I think it's a good test for the Broncos going into the finals. Obviously, we see how good the Cowboys can pile on periods of points all off the back of Drinkwater. He'll be a big target. They'll be bombing the fuck out of Drinky in their game plan and trying to take him out of the game. And I think they're going to have to be on, especially when there's a few 6-agains against them, or they're losing a bit of possession or field position off a few penalties to Cowboys. They've got to be on in periods to stop the onslaught of Dearden and Drinky. But if they handle those little periods, I think over the course of the game, I think I said it 2 days ago, cream rises to the top. Broncos across the board have got bigger and better players, younger and fitter players ready to roll. So I think that'll shine for the Broncos. And there's plenty of opportunity too.
So bright like a diamond.
Plenty of opportunity too for the Cows against Cowboys in their edge D, and shine bright like a diamond. Exactly. Rihanna.
Nice one. Our next game, Sunday, Sharks versus Knights, Shark Park. The bookies got the Knights listed at $6. And our mate Mitch's cheddar.
Well, let's put it in perspective. Knights, Adam O'Brien's likely to be sacked before the game. That's the talk. So if they haven't pulled the trigger yet, surely it's going to happen before the weekend. So there's two ways that happens when your coach gets sacked. I think we've both been in situations like that. You either come back and have a mad rebound because it's just what teams do, or you go the other way and it capitulates. I just think the Sharks have got more to play for. They've got finals on their mind. They need to play consistent footy, and the Knights are a side that they can, if they're fair income, you like that fair income. If they've got their heads screwed on, it's a good chance for them to sort of ambush the Knights and score some points. And they're good at that. Cronulla's great at that. You know, they're especially on that left edge. We speak about it with Kennedy, Mulitano, and Trindle. They cause some havoc, and the Knights haven't been the greatest on that edge either. So I think the Cronulla Sharks, my cheddar, will have a field day.
I'm with you. There's nothing to explain more than that, Mitchell. I think the Sharks win and they win easy. Way too much to play for. It's been a up and down poor season for Newcastle. Probably will get worse with the news if Adam O'Brien does get sacked. They'll have a bit of spirit early. But as you said, Sharkies for me, and Sharkies easy. It'll be a Nico Hines Trindle field day.
I feel that
13
too.
plus, easy.
13 plus.
How many points?
13 plus, Katoa try, Mulitalo try. Are they still in? They're injured.
Mulitano will score 3, I reckon. There you go. That's my prediction. Mulitano for 3 tries. We'll see on Monday review. Will Kennedy 2 and 3 for Mulitano. Wow.
Oh well, I've got my multi for the weekend. Our last game, the Little Brothers Queensland Derby, the Dolphins up against the Titans. This one's at Suncorp. Bookies have Dolphins as favourites. I think that's probably about right. How do you boys feel about it?
I'm tipping a Titans win.
Oh, no.
I am.
Yeah? Tell me why.
I'm tipping a Titans win. The week it's been, couple of weeks left for Desi. Dolphins, their season's done. They can't play finals either, I'm pretty sure. I think the Titans can get it done. A few players, last few games of the year. For me, the Dolphins haven't been great the last few weeks. They've had some shellackins. They've scored 160 points scored against them. It feels like the drain of the season has come to, and I know Titans have been in a very similar position. But Titans have never been up. They've sort of had their good performances here and there, and I think they're due for a good performance. They showed a little bit of fight last week against the Warriors. I better see it had been a close one, the Titans coming home with it.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dolphins. I can see what you're saying and the fact that they'll bounce back, but I think Dolphins have to win just for Many reasons. Been off the back of huge score lines. 160 points in 3 weeks defensively. Like, talk about crisis meetings from Dragons. They'd be having Christian Wolf would have them in a. He'd have them in a garage.
Dolphins can actually make the 8.
Them.
Yeah, Dolphins. It is an important one for the Dolphins. Actually, they can make the 8. I do remember back to Monday, they were one of the teams that can still make it. If Roosters are to lose, the Dolphins can jump them.
And to win it, they've got to defend well. That'll be the talk all week. You know what a hard guy Christian Wolf is. He'd be gutted with the way they've been defending. And they're going to get a response for me. Katoa will have a big game. I think the Titans' defence suits Katoa, suits any half. If you win the ruck and you defend good, they're more passive. Got a bit of a soft underbelly, so any good half can enjoy some success if you get a good amount of field position and complete well. So I think they'll have a good day. Just one on Des. Will Des get another? Will he get another gig? Just made me think about it. We didn't go into it earlier. Or do you reckon he's done?
I'm not too sure. I'm sure.
NRL.
Who knows? That'd be up to Des, I reckon. I think.
Yeah, it was just a conversation. He's obviously been around for a while. I'm just curious. Do you think someone like a Newcastle or these sides would look at a Des, or do you reckon he's that's it? I suppose it's just sure. a thought for the footy nerds.
You know, thought he farted till he shit himself. That's another week done and dusted. I can't believe we're in round 26 and we're still sitting here talking garbage. But we are still here because we love you, footy nerds. Have a great weekend of football, and we'll see you all next week. Just sit tight. Finals footy's around the corner, and get your popcorn and drinks ready. We've still got a couple of rounds to go.